Up-and-coming trainer Jade Cunningham recently went out on her own as a solo trainer and got her 10th career win on Wednesday with Gateskeeper at Churchill Downs. She also has a first-time starter on Sunday closing day. We caught up with her at Churchill Downs trackside to learn about her career, her experience with Wayne Lucas, and more.
Yeah, so my logo came from Wayne and Dallas. They both were green, as well as Danny Fish, who I worked for, but the circle is for Wayne. His logos are in a circle, and Dallas is a diamond. And then I put myself in the middle where I intersect with all of their knowledge and everything they've taught me.
So Jade, you got win number 10 on Wednesday at Churchill Downs. Tell me about that win. Gateskeeper was the longest shot on the board, so were you surprised or did you know you were flying under the radar?
It was really cool to go off at 15-1, and of course it made it a little more exciting, honestly, but he's a really nice horse and he gives me everything he has when I put him in the right location. So kind of expected it, was really grateful for it. Me and the owner and the jock and one of my best friends here went out and just had dinner, just had a nice dinner and everything, because still, you know, the next day you got a horse in at Belterra and you got to just keep going. So celebrate the wins for sure, but it's 24/7, so we keep going. But it was a really big deal to me to get that 10th win. We worked hard for it. My team's worked really hard for it. So, and a special horse too, and a special owner. So it was exciting.
And then on Sunday, first-time starter, 2-year-old filly Command the Stars put in a bullet work on June 9th at Churchill Downs trackside. So seems like she's maybe sharp and ready heading into Sunday.
Yeah, we're really excited about her. She's shown a lot of talent. We actually had her in the maiden special weight because there wasn't an auction race, and I felt like she could be fairly competitive in the maiden special weight, but if you can find easier company, especially for a first-time starter, being in with all those horses, you never know what'll happen. So she's training really good, has been breezing very well into the race. So we're excited to see what she does. Very level-headed, a little bit like Gateskeeper, very smart.
Your first win came with Spangster, who had been in a couple other barns before coming to you. Now you've got this debut runner. So talk about the challenges of getting a 2-year-old ready for the racetrack.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. It's just different. You're teaching them everything from scratch. So obviously Spangster had been with Dallas and Wayne. They had done the hard part. I just had to figure out what he needed in his old age. But the babies, you're teaching them the paddock, you're teaching them the gates, you're teaching them to go in company, to take dirt, all those things. So I have fortunately had enough time to do some of those things with Command the Stars. So I'm hoping we have her ready. And like I said, again, she's very level-headed. I expect her to take everything pretty well in stride. But it's a completely different ball game with a 2-year-old. You never know. They could break out of the gates and be scared to death. You just never know. So you just prepare them the best you can and send them out into the world like a kid.
Let's talk about your decision to go out on your own. You made that decision a couple years ago, and the story of how you got your first horse, very unique as well. So talk about that.
I was working up at Monmouth and just really wasn't happy there. It had nothing to do with the trainer I was working for. It was just not, there was just like a stirring in me that I was like, this isn't working. And so I went and talked with her and was like, hey, I'd like to step away when it's convenient for you. And she gave me a time frame and I stepped away and called Dallas and was like, because you kind of panic. And I'm like, Dallas, you need anyone? He's like, no, we're good, which is totally fair, So I didn't really even reach out to anyone else. I just started driving and praying and was like, all right, God, what are we going to do? If I'm not happy working for these people, what's the next step? And I got about 2 hours away from Monmouth, headed towards Kentucky. And I got a phone call from Kevin Horton. And he said, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm on the way to Kentucky. And he said, all right, perfect. I want you to go pick up a filly from Wayne. Wayne just doesn't have the time right now to deal with her. He's told me to get her out of the barn. And I said, well, let me call Wayne. If Wayne approves it, I'll go get the filly. So I called Wayne and Wayne's like, if you want to come get her, that's fine. But I'm obviously sending her on her way for a reason. And I was like, I just want to say I have a horse, boss. And he's like, okay, come get her. Really from there, I was just able to grow and reach out to people. Honestly, Charles Jennings has done a ton for me. He's really who truly grew me and got me started. He owns a restaurant in Hot Springs. I sent him an email. He claimed a horse with me, and that's really who's grown me. But the stepping out on my own, I was just kind of pushed into it, and here we are.
Wanted to ask you about any advice or the impact he's had on your career. Obviously, the filly is one impact, yes. But I know that you have a quote on your arm as well from Coach.
Yeah. So the one on my arm is shoulders back and get ready to do something. So when I stepped away from Wayne, I got myself in a little bit of a situation, and I was also unhappy there. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I went in his office. I hadn't talked to him in about 2 months, and I went in his office and I was like, boss, I messed up. And he's like, I didn't think you'd like it there. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't feel like I'm growing. Where should I go? and he kind of threw out some names. I was like, what about Dallas? Because he's always been really high on Dallas. He's high on all of his people, but he's always been really high on Dallas. And I was like, what about Dallas? And he's like, that's a good one. Let me call him. And I was like, okay. And when I stepped away from Wayne, I wasn't super proud of the way I stepped away from him. So when I went to leave his office, I was just like, thank you so much, boss. I'm really sorry. And I kind of choked up. And when I choked up, he said, just put your shoulders back and get ready to do something. And so now every time something's kind of hard, I'm like, just put your shoulders back, Jade, let's go. Like, let's do this. So it meant a lot to me, and it was really good advice. And he saw it, didn't approve of the tattoo, but I'm very fortunate, very blessed to have the 10 horses I have and a good crew and all the things, good owners, all of it.
So after win number 10 on Wednesday, and you're in technically year 2 as a solo trainer, what do you hope to accomplish in year 5?
It's kind of crazy because I'm really happy with where I am. I've always said that I don't want to be air quote a mega trainer. I'd like to say I liked where Dallas was. I think that would be long-term goals, is about 30 or 40. But right now, me getting to gallop them seems to be a pretty big benefit. So probably within the next 5 years, somewhere where I can still gallop and I have another good gallop hand. So about 15 would be great. Just keep a good crew and all that. The biggest thing is I'm learning that I'd rather have good quality horses over quantity. So we're working really hard on quality, and of course I've had some really awesome owners back me with that. So that's the biggest heart behind it, is good quality horses.
And you got your start in horse racing around age 11,
Yeah.
So you've been around for a long time, your family also involved. With all that said, is there a legacy in horse racing you hope to leave?
You know, that's a question that's really been on my heart this week. I'm going to be really honest with you. Anything I do, I just hope it points to Jesus. He's been really good to me, and that's ultimately why we're here. And so I love horse racing. I think it's awesome. I hope I leave the kindness of Wayne Lucas and the grace of Wayne Lucas, and as well as, you know, pointing everyone to Jesus on and off the track as well, because he's here as well. So that would be what I want to leave.